everyone. Welcome in. This is session number 179 of the Morning Journal, and I am your host, G. Most excited and grateful to have you here with us this morning. We're going to get ready to get our conversation started in just a second. Shout out to all the folks listening in over on Spoon, getting the chat rolling already, and to the folks listening in the replay gang. I realize I need to give y'all a little bit of love because I act like that y'all not watching this back later and you're not participating in the conversation in real time. So let me just say this. If you're watching now, if you're watching back the replay, please feel free to add your comments beneath the video, and I'll be sure to check out what you have to say in response to the conversations and the prompts that we have live. I would love to be able to keep that conversation going with you. And I certainly appreciate you for taking a few moments to start your day or end your day, however you choose to engage in this experience. I appreciate you. So with that, we're going to get ready to get into our first prompt, which is a check-in prompt that we like to do. Or it's a newer check-in prompt that I kind of just started introducing into the situation. So let's get started with that one. And it's really quite simple, straightforward. Right now, I notice. Right now, I notice.
Right now, I notice.
All right.
Right now, I notice.
All right, let's see what we got here.
Let's see what we got here.
Okay. Request box is open. Let us know. What do you notice right now? A lot of times we start with
Open, let us know. What do you notice right now?
we start with
A lot of times we start with
gratitude.
gratitude.
All right. Couple technical things
Right.
trying to get sorted out here.
Couple technical things.
So, yeah. Daily dose of love. Thank you so much for coming in. SO, welcome in. It's great to see you this morning. Right now, I notice Mighty Warrior Wolf is in the building. We got Kaloli. Got you live on the living room TV for everybody to see. Well, it's good to have you here, Kaloli. So I guess you notice right now that I'm over here fiddling around, trying to get things situated. It's great to have you in the chat and ready to add your unique flavor of humor and insight to the conversation. Thanks for the likes, Val and Daily Dose of Love. Thank you so much. All right now I notice. Bubbles says, right now I notice my two best friends have COVID, and I also made hot chocolate to start my morning. Hot chocolate to start the morning and two friends with COVID. I tell you, it's really, really moving around. Omicron's not out here playing. I know we have a lot of folks who've been on the stream who've been dealing with that, so. Speedy recovery to your friends. All right, here we go. Let's see. I apologize for the folks, for some reason, I was all set and ready to go this morning, and now stuff is glitching on me. but we're going to ride. Let's get into Noble's contribution. Right now, I notice a sense of my thoughts and brainstorms. My thoughts are positive and my brainstorms are solidly strong today. Love it. Love it. Chloe with the double dip. Chloe's like, I need that full, rich audio experience, you dig? I wish they were synced up so that you can watch and listen and it be at the same time. But, you know, that's not the life we live in right now. So Val says, I noticed that there is a plus button, a plus person button next to the like button. I don't know what it do, but I'm gonna touch it. Oh man, Britt is here. What's happening? It's good to see you this morning, Britt. Hope things are going well. I think that it lets you. Maybe invite someone in to enjoy the conversation with us. I don't know. Yeah, invite friends. Yeah. Yeah, so it says, hey, I like that. See, I like the fact that it's popping off in here and you're like, yo, come check this out. So yeah, I'm not gonna ask you to do it, but it's cool that you can do it, you know? So right now I notice this prompt is really about bringing us, before we start with our reflection, if we can come from a place of awareness of our present moment and our present state and our present situation, I think that's a good place to start. Just by noticing. There's an art to noticing, right? I think one of the things that I kind of came across, some information I came across a couple days ago, that might be a little bit, I don't want to overstate it and say it's going to be revolutionary, but it did give me something to think about in regards to all of the inputs that we encounter, you know? I was one who always has something going on in the background, listening to something. You know, I got a podcast playing and while I'm doing different stuff. And what the insight was that anytime your attention is engaged on something that requires, anytime something is tugging at your attention, then you're not really experiencing downtime. Even if you're just kind of casually, you know, not even directly paying attention to it, if you want to rest, you might want to try to limit some of your inputs, even if it's something that's fun. You know, even if it's like watching a movie. If you really need to unwind, you know, silence. Even meditation is too much because you're trying to focus on something. But if you can just like disconnect from the inputs and then just like not focus your thoughts on anything, but just be present in the moment and just whatever comes up, notice it. That's a great way to recharge yourself. All right. So right now I noticed that on Morning Journal, YouTube, you can see the chat in manager mode. Yeah, you can see who's coming in. Yeah. You can see folks coming in. If you're on YouTube, you can see who's coming in and not saying nothing. All right, real quick, let's give a quick shout out to Ant Capone and Cybershots who just joined us over on YouTube as well. Good morning, folks. Let us know right now. Yeah, right now we got folks chilling and hanging out and ready to get into the conversation. Let's see what else we are noticing. Alexis Autumn Elf says that, man, this stupid cough. I'm going to the doctor today to talk about it, so looking forward to that. Also, calmness of mind, and the warmth of the room. I notice the calmness of my mind and the warmth of the room. I hope it's warm in a way that you enjoy and not like in a way that's uncomfortable for you. I know that I kind of tend to run hot as a human, and sometimes the warmth in the room is like a problem for me. Because like even right now, as I'm sitting on this video, it's not particularly warm in here, but I have an ice pack sitting in front of me and a big old cartoonish glass of ice water, just so I won't be sweating profusely on camera. I like it a little bit cool. So my ice pack, I have it wrapped up in a towel so it doesn't freeze my arm, but yeah, this is frozen right here, and I just kind of keep it on my wrist to keep my body temperature. You know, it's like, man, you might need to go to the doctor. What's wrong with you? All right. So Miss Ma'am says, I noticed that I should have refused making this drawing. Don't ask what it is. Just pray I still go to heaven. So, Miss Ma'am, Miss Ma'am is drawing something obscene or inappropriate, and now is concerned about her immortal soul. Well, I'm not going to ask what it is, but prayers up. So Sonic can't do words today, so Sonic notices a snowflake, a rain cloud, and a block of ice. Or maybe that's a cloud of flurries. Okay. So I guess that's a commentary. I guess that's a commentary on the current state of the weather. If you're in a part of the country where that's what you're experiencing, I know that's kind of headed towards the East Coast over the course of tonight and tomorrow. So, yeah. Harley Quinn is listening in. What's happening, Harley? I know you're probably having your late night, your breakfast, I guess. I don't know what meal this is for you, but I hope that you are enjoying, and thanks for listening in. And Capone notices that, and Capone says, my focus is up. That's what I notice. And Capone is tuned in. A lot of times when you go into a new situation, I know you just started a new gig, and when you're in that situation, you know, you kind of turned on and tuned in. When you've been doing something for a long time, you can almost like, you know, sleepwalk through it. And, you know, it's like you don't even have to think about it. It's automatic. But when you get in a new environment, your focus is up. You're more aware of, you know, what's going on, and you're fully present for it. And that's a good feeling, really. It feels good to be engaged with something. Even if it's a little stressful in the moment, it kind of wakes you up and makes you feel alive. So it's good to have your focus up. So Kaloli says, it's 4 a.m. for me, so focus is shutting down soon. I hear you. Simon is here. Welcome in, Simon. It's good to have you here. All right. Britt says, my vision was so blurry, but I made it into G's Live. Wow. Well, I'm glad that you made it here. Blurry vision and all. So what I notice. That's the question we're working with right now. While Miss Ma'am finishes not drawing nudes. So Jehovah Thickness says, I noticed that I no longer have a belly button. Oh, what happened to that belly button? Yeah. So now it's just a nub. It's still a button though. You went from an innie to an outie. You got that Audi 5000? Oh man. What's the new? You got that Audi A4. I think this is the A series now. It's an A4 right now. It's going to be a A6, A8 by the time it's said and done, huh? All right. I think we got everyone's response, and thank you so much, everyone, for participating in this part of the conversation. Just tuning in and checking into what your current environment is showing you, and what it's telling you. Being present with that. So with that, let's get ready to go into the next prompt, the next part of the conversation. And again, this is a check-in that we just started using last week. So a lot of times we express gratitude at the beginning of this conversation, and I think that's a valid way to start. But not even going as far as to express a gratitude, it's kind of like a honing in on the noticing part. So the question, quite simply, is what have you received? Not even asking you to be grateful for it. Just notice it, just acknowledge it. I have received. Just in that noticing, we can kind of shift our attention away from the things that we lack to the things that we have, the ground that we get to, the game that we get to play, and the ground that we're standing on is full of gifts. So what have you received? Full of treasures. So Britt says, I have received unconditional love. Oh, that's a wonderful gift. That's a wonderful and rare treat. I love that. Isn't that awesome? Kaloli says, I have received notice that my payment is late. Oh, man. Hey, and guess what? You'll get another one, too, if you don't deal with it. Bubble says, I received a 24-pack of White Claw for my 21st birthday on last Monday. Are you still working on it, or did you already tear through that case? I mean, happy belated. Celebrating in the most basic way possible. Getting you in the game on that on cans of wine. So sophisticated. So glad you made it. Oh man. So Noble Ancient says, I have received a confirmation and an opportunity. I thankfully have reason to utilize both. Oh. Confirmation and opportunity. So Bubba says, correction, I haven't received it yet because I haven't seen my boyfriend yet. Oh, so you're going to get it. So have you seen photographic evidence of said case of White Claws? Because you might not have a case of White Claws. They might be gone. You're going to get a different case of White Claw than what you saw in the picture. But, it's all the same. So Ms. Bam says, I've received depression. Y'all already know why. Well, I mean, let's see. I don't know if we're talking about something from the day or something from previous conversations. I know that you are, trying to get your money right, get your situation together. Or, I don't know, maybe you depressed because your breath stank. And that's something that we know about you too. That's pretty depressing. But on the bright side, you have a lover. We know that too. So, there's always these bright sides. Alexis says that I've received love from Noble in the form of being covered in my favorite blankie after being cold from feeding the bunny. Got to get up, feed the bunny, get shivered, get chilly, and then snuggle back up under the blanket. I think sometimes when you have trouble with cold, it's hard to get out of bed because almost by definition, you're going to be leaving a warm place and going into a cold place. So what have you received? Just a way to orient our awareness away from lack and towards abundance. That is really the central reason behind that question. So one day when the people you owe money to, if they ever join you live or if they catch the or what you'll receive when you pay it is you will receive a receipt. Oh man, I have received my receipt. Okay, folks. I think we are ready to go into the next prompt. Oh, we got some more receipts. Val says, I've received anxiety and I would like a refund. Yeah. A lot of stuff you're like, hey man, you can just take that back. I don't want, that doesn't fit. This doesn't fit. Do you have the receipt? Because I need to take it back. No receipt. You didn't get a gift receipt? Yeah. How about you keep it next time? All right, here we go. If we're ready, let's go to the next prompt. Drop me a heart in the chat if y'all are ready to get into what will be kind of the first prompt when we're getting into the nitty gritty of the conversation today. Let me pull up my notes so I can refresh my, okay. There we go. Yeah, drop me a heart in the chat. We can get ready to go into the next prompt. This is, once again, session number 179 of Morning Journal. And we're going to talk about what it's like to be human. What it's like to be human. So the first prompt in that direction gives you an opportunity. I don't want to turn it into just like a whole full out complaining session, but I will say that we can acknowledge that there are some difficulties associated with your existence as a human in this moment in time. So in your experience, what's the hardest part of being a human today? The hardest part about being a human today is blank. And I guess it's probably worth thinking about how that question, we want to check in primarily about what your current experience is, like what it's like for you right now. But in general, I think that it would be interesting to think about how that question might have changed over time. What are some things that are uniquely difficult about being human today that might not have been true in the past as we understand it? Every generation, every moment in history has its own unique set of challenges that we sort of adapt and direct our attention towards solving. The puzzle changes, but then there are some of those universal things that don't seem to ever change. It just seems to be like a universal part of the human experience. So in your assessment, what's the hardest part of being human today? Mondo is here. Welcome in. Thank you for joining me for session number 179. It's great to have you here this morning. Oh. All right. So Jehovah Thickness says the hardest part about being a human today for you is being 7 months pregnant. And if I lay down, I get stuck on my back like a turtle. So I think that your experience is one that has existed for a long time. Well, always existed in terms of the difficulties that humans have in bringing and making and birthing new humans inside of their bodies. So you got to stay on your side. So Alexa says that the hardest part about being human today is everything revolves around money now, but it's difficult to make a living wage. It's not easy to make the money needed to survive and thrive when you work 9 to 5. Wow, you ended that with some bars. I don't know if that was intentional bars you had there. It's not easy to make the money needed. It ain't easy to make the money needed to survive and thrive when you work 9 to 5. Hold on, let me try to do it on beat. Yo, everything revolves around the money now, but it's difficult to make a living wage. It ain't easy to make the money needed to survive and thrive working the 9 to 5. Lexus. Feel me. Automel. Bad boy. Yo. Hey, yo. Hey, that was all you, Alexis. You put them bars in the chat. Okay, maybe that's the new rule. Maybe you have to answer in the form of rap. Steve is here from the Hold Up TV, and JM has joined us. We're talking about the hardest part about being a human today. Mondo, thank you so much for the like. I appreciate it. So Mondo says, folks act like we aren't all human, like it's different races instead of the human race. Another thing that's hard, because humans hate for no reason, instead of growing with the seasons, be at one. Another one dropping bars, all caps, like all caps. All right. Folks act like we are all part, like human, like it's different races instead of the human race. Another thing that's a disgrace. It's hard because humans hate for no reason at all. Instead of growing with the seasons, be yet one. And please be believing. I feel like I need to be yelling that because of the fact that he had the all caps locked, tapped. But still, I'll just say it in a calm way. All right. I'm just going to rap all of y'all. I'm just going to convert all of y'all responses into raps. And the confusing thing is that on YouTube, you can't hear the beat. But, don't miss mine. Let me put on my Ninth Wonder tape, beat tape in here, and I'll just spit all Thursday. All right. I don't know. I just feel like I need to do it. Hold on. Y'all don't mind me. All right. Expectations. We are expected to throw our healthiest part of our lives into studies and then move to the day we can no longer move around as much as we are expected to work until we finally die. All right. All right. Let's see. Do I need to try to recompose this? Or should I just go on to the, let me know in the chat if y'all want me to try to, if you want me to try to flip this into some bards, freestyle off of what y'all wrote. No, we'll just go to the next one. I don't want y'all to try to make it. I don't want y'all to try to rhyme it. Just, we're just gonna stay. All right, let's see. Up next, Noble Ancient says, the hardest part about being an ancient is being trapped in an easily injurable body, and yet it heals just as easily. I answered in my brand. Yeah, you answered in your brand, for sure. It's like, so don't say I didn't answer, I answered my way. Welcome in, Jaden. Thanks for joining us this morning. Breathing. Noble says, read them however you want. We don't care. Just see who stay. All right. All right. So for Sonic, the hardest part about being human is mastering my golf game. Well, those are, those are high class problems, I guess. But it is difficult. All right. The hardest part is that people project. People project. That project. All right. So the hardest part about being human is we don't know how to build intimate connections with people. Most who've tried and failed survive to be afraid to try again. We easily fall into the entitlement trap, and we believe we're suffering alone. Let me go down one more time. We don't know how to build intimate connections with people. Most who've tried and failed survive to be afraid to try again. We easily fall into the entitlement trap and believe that we are suffering alone. There's a lot in there. I think that intimate connection, and I think the expectation of intimate connection and the desire that we hold for it is tied to the fact that we feel as though we're suffering alone. When you are feeling as though you don't have the connection, it's natural to be under the assumption that you're suffering alone. So we have one more request here. It's from Bubbles. It's waking up because of depression. So that restlessness and sense of just kind of downness where you can't even fully just rest. You wake up in despair, disillusionment. That is a difficult thing. Because sometimes when you are in one of those down states, what you want to do is just sleep, just kind of be for a second, and you can't even do that. So it's almost like there's no escape from it. And that's a difficult place to be in, for sure. All right. Deep breaths. Definitely feel for you there, Bubbles. So we started, we're in a sort of a heavy place right now, but as always, we want to try to turn the question the other way around. So if we're ready to go to the other side, we talked about the difficult part. Go ahead and let's drop a heart in the chat and let's move on to the next one. All right, here we are. So the best part about being a human today is blank. The best part about being a human today is blank. Yeah, Noble. Yeah, Noble. Participate or not. It's not compulsory. When you are an ancient among humans, I guess there's some times where you're just going to be excluded. That's just part of the gig, I guess. We talk about humans all day today, so I don't know. You might have to sit this whole thing out. Tiger PFK is here. Welcome in. The best part about being a human today is mastering my golf game. So I think the way that Sonic has took this prompt is a very interesting direction, and there's a lot of truth in it. Because the prompt before wasn't what was the worst part, it's what's the hardest part. And sometimes when we are engaged in things that are difficult but worthwhile, it's really the most alive that we feel when we are engaged and we are stretching ourselves to our limits and, endeavoring towards our potential. Those challenges that we face are sort of the ground of joy and engagement and enjoyment. We think we want it easy, but, I don't think necessarily that having it easy is what brings the best out of us and makes the best experience for us overall. It doesn't create the same, you don't get the satisfaction from ease that you might think you would. So I think one of the things is, I think that's true, and one of the reasons why it's so important to focus on the process so deeply is because the end is not going to be, the outcome is not going to be a long-lived experience in terms of the emotional impact that it has. No matter what it is that you accomplish, you might have a few minutes with it where you have sort of that peak experience of sense of accomplishment. Best case, you got a few days. And for the most momentous things, you might have a few weeks. And then, you're you again. It's just kind of how the way it goes. It's just kind of how it goes. So being engaged in something that might be challenging, but worthwhile, that's kind of the best part. The best part is striving to be your best for some of us. So I love that. Sigma, DJ Schizo 2020. DJ Schizo 2020. I read your name super slow, but I think I got it right. Nice to have you here. All right. Schizo. Oh, you know him. You know Schizo. Did you invite Schizo? Are y'all using that invite people? Y'all don't need to, but you can if you want to. All right, Miss Ma'am says the best thing about being alive today about being a human today is anime. Look there. Look at all this art that art, for some reason, if you break it down in terms of the nitty gritty of what it takes to just survive and pass on your genes to the next generation and all of that, it would seem that art is unnecessary. Like, it doesn't seem like, why are we doing this? Why don't we just focus, But no, it's like, it is so key to make life worthwhile. It might not be the key to surviving, but why would you want to live without it? All right. I don't know, this bop might make me rap see y'all responses again. All right. I can't keep playing these slappers at 6:44 in the morning. All right. So for Jehovah Witness, the best part about being a human today is seeing people being more comfortable about who they are and not having to hide it anymore. Oh man. How about that? There is a lot of space made available. There is a lot of space made available that was not available before. Space for people to express themselves and be comfortable in their own skin, to come out of hiding. I think there are a lot of ways that we live in hiding. And because we have this ability, and we stay in hiding because if we look around, it seems like there's no one like us. But now that we have ability to transcend geography and make connections beyond our immediate space, it kind of reaffirms that, you know, there is a community. There are people, there are others, there are the others, they are out there. And if I'm willing to show myself, you know, hey, you're one of us. There's more of us out here. Oh man. Yeah, got on a Pop Smoke type beat at 6:30, 6:45 in the morning. All right. So that is beautiful. So Mondo says the best part is art, music, dance, nature, animals, and plants. That is the best part. For sure. DJ Schizo says, I'm wide awake. Is that DJ Schizo or is that Katy Perry? I'm wide awake. I love it. I'm glad that you're here with us. We do this every day at 6 a.m. Eastern time. I'm not sure what part of the world you're in, but, you know, glad to have you here. So Alexis says, the best part about being human is the advances in medicine because it's so much better than even 20 years ago. New discoveries help cure bigger illnesses and also vaccines to help us not get sick with deadly illnesses like polio. Yeah, imagine having polio, smallpox. They're just some things that we just don't have to really worry about anymore. Randall says, team, no sleep, yo. I slept, yo. I got a solid 7.5 hours. So y'all can have that no sleep type situation. All right, Sigma. The best thing about being human today is being tough, aggressive, regardless of how soft I speak. People judge me because people are weak. Yeah. It's like, yo, don't let the smooth taste fool you. DJ Schizo says, I normally sleep 3 hours. Man, your brain will thank you later if you start getting more sleep. You can run and rip, but at some point, that deprivation is going to catch up. Trust. LeBron James had this ad, and I don't like LeBron James like that, where I need to be quoting him, but he's advocating Pitch and Calm, that app. Greatness lies on the other side of sleep. The quality of your experience is such that after resting, you're better. So you're not missing out, you know? You're better. Pending deletion is here. Welcome in. So you have a sleep disorder. Got it. Yeah, that's tough. So Val is sharing the best part about being human today is access to self-education. You can learn. You don't have to, the information is out there. You can chart your own learning path if you have the motivation and the desire and the willingness to go out and connect and explore. You can teach yourself almost anything. The knowledge is not locked behind the walls of institutions. The only thing standing between you and what you need to know is your willingness. And that is a beautiful thing. So Noble Ancient says that the best part about being an ancient in a human world is learning like an ancient and being positive in the face of adversity. Being positive in the face of adversity. All right. So here we are. Let me take it. We're 50 minutes in. We've kind of examined the human experience from a couple different perspectives, from the difficulties and challenges to the unique opportunities and best parts about being a human today. It's a unique experience. And I think that in some cases, the answers are the same. I think Sonic had a really insightful way to approach the question, saying the worst, even though it was mastering a golf game, and it might have been a sincere answer, or he might have been being a little facetious. Either way, there is some wisdom in understanding that sometimes our difficulties and our challenges represent the best of what it is to be human, because of what it makes of you as you engage in those, how it grows you as a person to navigate those challenges elegantly and gracefully, or not so gracefully. Coming out on the other side stronger is often the point, because we build this capacity to withstand, its resilience to withstand challenges, and then we can apply that resilience, and we can use that growth in service of the person that we're becoming, in service of the people that we care about, in service of the art that we want to share. All the things that we get made into through the things that we endure can exist as art for others to learn and grow from. So, yeah. So real quick, last one before we get ready to go to the next one. In case nobody has told y'all today, I'm here to tell y'all that you are beautiful and important. For sure. Cyber Shots, got to get back to the grind. Thanks so much for being here, Cyber Shots. I hope you have a lovely day as well. Bex is here. Hey, Bex. Hope everything is going well for you this morning. We're going to get ready to go into the next prompt. If you are ready, go ahead and drop me a heart in the chat. Bex is like, man, I just got here. I got something to say. If you got something to say about this one, you can just drop it in the chat, because we're moving on to the next. Oh, you caught it. Bex says, I'm only here for the food. I'm only here for the food. We eating good around here these days. All right, make sure that you grab a cookie and a flower in the chat as it passes by, and as we get ready to go into the next part or next piece of our conversation. And that is this. Let's find it. Okay. More than almost anything, I love to blank. More than almost anything. And I kind of hedged the wording on that because when I make it too definitive, a lot of times you freeze up because it's like, how do I choose? Because there's so many different things. I can't just pick one and say that it is the thing I enjoy or love the most to do. But if I say almost anything, then it gives you the freedom to pick one, even if you think deeper, it might not be the most. But yeah, one sentence. To talk about one of your favorite things to do. Yeah, describe the experience in one vivid sentence. So Berlin is back. Welcome back, Berlin. Thanks for being here. Nice having you here this morning. So more than almost anything, I love to blank. All right. So one of the things that I really love to do is something that I did this morning. I love watching bass players, yo. I mean, I like watching musicians perform in general, but I really like watching bass players because there's just something physical. There's a way that they kind of act or respond physically with their body when they're playing. And yeah, it's just something that they do is, they just are different. It's a certain type of musical personality to kind of fulfill that role in a performance or composition and kind of understand how to create the foundation, the subtle foundation around which everything else is built. You remember and you notice the riffs and the harmonies and the melody. That's the part that you sing along and everybody kind of notices. But the bass player is kind of building the scaffolding that you are able to lay all of that stuff in. And there's so many little things that they do with their body as they're kind of crafting that experience and finding space inside of that experience to be creative and to show a little flair without losing the groove and throwing everybody off. It's a real delicate balance watching. And I mean, I enjoy listening, but just also physically watching what they are doing and how they are finding ways to not just hold the groove, but also to do something subtle and creative and interesting without taking over, It's beautiful. So Debbie Bear, Mondo is back. Abby is here. Great to have you. So, more than almost anything. So, Beck says, it's the drummers for me. Yeah, I could dig it. All right. So someone has anonymously shared that I love to give affection, but I treasure when it's mutual affection. Yeah, more than almost anything else, I love to give affection, but I treasure when it's mutual. Yeah, true that. So Debbie says, I found your YouTube channel too and subscribe. That's awesome. I'm glad that you found us over there. I'm working on that. So like my current project with the channel now is to, put timestamps and chapters on all the videos that are already published so that you can easily find each prompt. And then you can just go in and jump straight to a prompt and answer it right there in the comments. If you're bold enough, But yeah, that's what I'm working on now is getting all those timestamps and chapters in the video. So, 2 hours is a long time. Maybe you ain't got 2 hours. Maybe you just want to sit with one question for a few minutes. Yeah. So the first thing, we love to love on somebody. And it's even better when we can get loved on back. So someone anonymously shares, more than anything, I love talking to little babies, wondering why I'm crazy. Well, I don't know. You're anonymous, so I don't want to get into it and, interrogate you. But it is something interesting about and fun about interacting with a small human, and seeing their reactions. Good morning. Good morning. Brittany Lucas is here. Thanks for joining us. Always great to have you here. Debbie says, I love talking to little babies too. It's a maternal thing for me. Yeah, for sure. Babies are so interesting. Interacting with a brand new life, for sure. And you can just see, you can kind of see like how they're kind of processing everything. So Jehovah Thickness says, more than anything, I love to be a mother. It is so rewarding, more than I thought it would be. Having mini me is great. Getting to see them grow and change over time. That's beautiful. You got to hold on to that. You got to hold on to that awareness and understanding when they start getting on your nerves. You got to remind yourself, like, I love this. I love this. I love my kids. I love my kids. I love my kids. All right, DJ Schizo says, I'm following you on YouTube. Hey, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate that. All right. All right, friends, Mo is here. Welcome in, Mo. Thank you so much for being here this morning. The prompt that we're working with right now, more than almost anything, I love to blank. So Alexis says, more than anything, I love to spend time with Noble because it's always an adventure when what we end up doing together. Hey now. All right, here we go. From playing games to exploring malls and having infinite dates along the way. That's beautiful. I love that. So DJ Schizo 2020 says, I love to mix music. It gives me a buzz. Oh man, I can relate. I feel you on that. I feel you on that. Back in the day, I used to get on here. I used to get on Spoon, hit y'all with some Sunday bumps real quick. Some of that rare heat. Ain't nothing like bringing two songs together or two pieces of music together in an unexpected way and creating that magical moment, watching a group of people, just kind of embody the experience that you're seeing people lose their mind. It's beautiful. Abby says, let me tell you, I figured out what a drill bit was a couple months ago. My life has changed. Yeah, I imagine you can like hang shelves now, and you can graduate from nails to screws. You can put all kinds of holes in things with a drill bit. And they come in different sizes too. Oh man. Man, if you just finding out what a drill bit is, everything is just all over the place in your house. You ain't got nary a shelf. You buy something it break, it's just broke, yo. No, I saw what you said. I just went with it. I saw it. I saw it. All right, Mando, you got to get ready to go to work. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. Yeah. Yeah, I know what a drill beat is. All right. So Mando says, more than anything, I love hip hop dance. Oh, and Mando's on that 5, 6, 7, 8. Them ISOs. I could dig it. I don't know. I think that hip hop dance has kind of been co opted. I think, yeah, hip hop dance has been co opted. Now, when I think about it, I think about a group, a troupe of dancers at at a school, little preteen or early teen girls in a formation stepping through, you know, stepping through some mediocre choreo and calling it hip hop. I don't even think about that that's the street stuff when I hear the phrase hip hop dance. But oh man. Let me find out Mando's out there trying to step up. You trying to Mando out here trying to get served, trying to get pump it up. Oh man. So, Noble says, more than almost anything, I love to spend time with Alexis and play tabletop games. You better have said spend time with Alexis. Oh man. Amanda says, cut a rug like Aladdin. Sadly, Aladdin didn't cut a rug, he just flew on it. Oh man. But yeah. Okay, here we go. So Abby says, I like making my family happy. I also really enjoy being a bit spontaneous, like going on road trips or doing something small but still fun. Yeah, I just love to get up and go. That's cool. And just so you know, if we've all been saying Aladdin's name wrong. It's Aladdin. You got a vest on too? Do you like rock a vest too? Sonic says, more than anything, I love to eat. Yeah. There could be some consequences to that love, depending on what it is. I hope that you savor things though. I think it's really good to be able to like fully appreciate food. You know? If we can enjoy eating and not just do it to the point where you're miserable, just be present and appreciate the sensation of nourishing your body. So Brittany Lucas says, more than anything, I love to be understood. Huh? What was that, Brittany? What'd you mean by that? She's like, man, leave you alone. All right. Val says, more than anything, almost anything, I love painting. It's the journey from thought to uncertainty to final product. Yeah, that is quite a journey because when you're painting, like when you're in the process, sometimes it's a mystery what it is you're actually making. I mean, there is a magical quality of that process. All right, it's about that time, folks. Go ahead and drop some green hearts in the chat for me if you don't mind. My mom is here listening in. Yeah. So green hearts in the chat for Retha just waking up, turning over. Also, real quick shout out on a winning day. Retha was able to manage to squeak out a 2-1 victory in the series of skip bowl games that we played yesterday. So after having an O for Tuesday, she eked out a victory, 2-1 in skip bowl on Wednesday. So congratulations. DJ Schizo says, I love helping people when I can once I meet them in person. Almost more than anything. So Bex says, more than anything, I love to swim. The smell of the chlorine, the freezing cold water. I especially love it when I have the pool to myself. So Mo is blessing the chat with every green emoji that she could find in honor of my mom's victory. I don't know what those are, but we might be done. We might need to let that one go. All right. So here we are. We're thinking about the things that we enjoy almost more than anything else. And the purpose of going there is a lot of times we don't give ourselves the opportunity to experience the things that we love to do. We don't necessarily make time or space in our life for the things that we really love to do. So this next prompt is kind of drilling in on that, because I think it's important that we make the time and make the space for the things that we enjoy, or else like our experience of being human is wasted. It's wasted when we don't make space for the things that we really enjoy, that we really love to do. Now, some folks, I think it's pretty straightforward. Hopefully you get to eat, you know. But for those who have creative pursuits and physically active pursuits, you know, hopefully you're making the time and space for those. So Britt is eating cookies. That's one thing. All right. If we're ready, we can go on to the next prompt real quick. Okay, let's do this one. 115. All right, here is the prompt. So we are made in part by what we miss out on. And initially, the way I had this prompt worded initially was we are made in part by what we miss. And that's kind of that's what I mean, but I put what we miss out on because I didn't necessarily want you to think about things that you've lost. I'm more thinking about the things that you are intentionally choosing not to include. We have a limited amount of time, and there are a lot of things that we can get involved with. But we do so, opportunity cost is a thing, right? It's the concept that any action that you take is at the expense of whatever else, whatever other thing you could be doing at that exact moment. So, Harumi, welcome in. Thanks for joining us. So we're talking about the intentional things that we are excluding, and that's sort of what makes us who we are. Things that we choose not to engage in, the things that we choose not to do. We carve our unique experience out of the direction of our attention, and out of the gift of our attention to the things that we actually notice. But we live in a space where there's constantly fear of missing out. The FOMO of I could be doing this, I could be doing that. We get to bear witness to all these different things that theoretically we could also include as a part of our experience. And it's presented to us in a way that makes it seem a lot of fun. Like, yeah, so wouldn't it be cool? But in order to kind of carve your own unique experience and to move towards the things that matter more to you, you have to choose, right? So what's something that you are intentionally choosing to miss? Like, I see it looks cool, but let me just stay in my lane here. Or maybe it's something that you need to make that decision about right now. Maybe things are a little bit too crowded in your experience and you need to make some space for maybe doing more of what you love, maybe pursuing like some of what we described as the best parts of being human. We got to create that space somewhere. And a lot of times we just need to stop paying so much attention to all the things that are on offer. Sometimes we need to stop opening up all these new options. It feels good to have like a bunch of options in front of you. It kind of gives you a little bit of comfort, but it's also very paralyzing when you have too many open loops, too many open options, too many undecided things. It's very difficult to make progress in any specific given direction when you have all of this stuff going on. So, what are you intentionally choosing to miss? Britt says, I'm missing out on talking to certain family members. I cut them out once it hit 2022. It's like on purpose, I recognize that these relationships are not going to be a part of my business in 2022. These conversations, I'm not going to be having those. So Chels is here. Welcome in, Chels. Glad to have you here. Hope that you're doing well and that you are in a good space. So DJ Schizo says, my family, I don't have the money to visit them. I've only seen my dad's side of the family one time in my lifetime. And you're doing that on purpose. So I guess the question is, if money was not an issue, do you think that you would find some value in connecting with that part of your family? What would you say? So Chels comes in and says, yesterday was an off day, work and mood-wise, but I slipped it off thinking today will be better. Well, here's hoping to a better day. And if not a better day, a better you. Sometimes we feel a little bit off, and that's just kind of part of the human experience that we've been talking about. but hopefully your mood is going to be in a better place, and maybe you can find space for a little joy and reward yourself with some rest and an open heart and a clear perspective on the day. Maybe you can find some silver linings around that experience. So Val is sharing. I'm going to miss out on giving more than I can provide to myself. So I'm going to miss overextending myself and expending too much of my energy more than I have to give. Realizing, kind of recognizing your value, understanding that sometimes the most generous thing that you can do in the big picture is say no. It seems stingy and selfish to say no, but that's a very narrow perspective, because I think that if you are trying to live in service of your highest contribution, the thing that you could best offer, the impact that you can most be proud of, a lot of times you do have to miss out on some of the smaller things. It's like, LOL, I get it. I'm valued. I get it. So just to follow back up with DJ Schizo, say, if it wasn't a financial issue, you would go and check out your family. That's what's up. Well, maybe you'll come into a new situation where that's a possibility for you. It can be a rewarding thing to connect with people, but it's a mixed bag, because as you see, a lot of the responses, the family relationships are in a season of disconnection for some of us. And I know that that doesn't happen all the time, but it could be the case that you need a little bit of separation. All right, here we go. So we're over on YouTube. Retha says, or actually Facebook, spent too much time. 2020 spent too much time. 2021 realized it was slowing. So stop watching so much TV. I didn't watch my Hallmark Christmas movies at all. So my mama, you stayed on Hallmark. TV stayed on Hallmark. So you know the whole thing, you know, the movie where, you know, the woman moves away from a small town and makes her way in a big city. And she's this successful, powerful, independent, dynamic woman. She's coming home for the holidays. And then she comes home for the holidays, and there's a guy who lives in the town and lives a pretty simple life, but he's ruggedly handsome and well put together, but really not her type. But through some miracle, they connect with each other and find love over the holidays. And now there's this thing: do I want to go back to my busy life in the city where I was successful or alone? Do I want to have a simple and happy life here in this small town? Can I be happy? You know, different variations of that. So yeah, even though she didn't watch one, I just told you that's what's gonna happen. So you didn't miss nothing. All right. Oh man. So Sigma says, I miss out on many new friendships because I have so many ducks to line up. I doubt many would accompany me in that. So you're in a situation where you're more focused on your professional and personal development rather than your social connections and relationship. Is what it sounds like. I guess there are definitely seasons for that, but I think it's also true that you don't necessarily have to exist in total isolation. It's not that it might be your current friends might not be about that, but there are people who are about that. So it could be a case where if you want to maintain a healthy social range of social connections, you just need to find people, you know, this is an insight that I came across. It says, if you want, I think it was from James Clear, if you want to kind of support a behavior change, then get around people for whom that behavior is normal, you know? And that is one of the greatest ways to support that change. Get around people who, this is just regular for us. If everybody around you is astonished by what you're doing, you might need to get around some new folks, man. You might need to get around some people who can actually push you to be better and kind of create a norm around the approach to living that is conducive to where you're trying to go. So Sigmund says, I've been trying to get some new friends. I've been trying to get in Abby as well. Abby is a magnet to toxicity, apparently. I don't know what kind of signals you out there putting out there, Abby, that you bring all this toxic, you know. Maybe we got to sort that out. But I think the longer you stay committed to your process, the more likely you are to find the others. Yeah. Sigma says, like, gee, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that you consider your time here as a useful part of the direction that you're creating for yourself. I'm glad that can be true for you. Abby out here attracting the leeches. So Abby says, I miss hanging out with people, but I feel like I just haven't had the patience, time, or loyalty for and from anyone. I've just gotten comfortable with the people in my house, but I miss my friends. I mean, as a new mother, I mean, your experience is really absorbed in that new situation. So it takes some time to adjust to that for sure. So Brittany Lucas says, going back to school, I want to take a different path. Take a different path. Go back and take a different path. Well, it's not too late, you know? It's not too late. Trust me. Because I know I've taken different paths at many different stages of my life. Real quick shout out to Tree, watching over on YouTube. Good morning, Tree. Aloha. William Moore over on YouTube says, I'm choosing to cut ties from the toxic people I've met. Yeah, that's awesome. That's important. The relationships that we create, a lot of times we connect in an emergency. We connect under extraordinary circumstances a lot of times. And when things get back to normal or when things settle down, a lot of times we look around us and the people who we connected with by coincidence in an emergency are not necessarily the type of people that we need to continue being with. Everything isn't supposed to be forever. And we experience all different types of emergencies, and it's not necessarily like a global pandemic or you know, there's kind of personal, emotional emergencies, points where we feel, where we feel desperately in need of something and vulnerable. We have an urgent need that, that we want to address. We don't feel like we can go without it. So sometimes we connect in an emergency. And then after that emergency over, we realize, maybe this is not, maybe this ain't something for every day, So Britt says, I got reminded that school starts next week. I'm excited, but at the same time, I don't want it. I don't want it. I can dig that. So Sonic shares that I deeply miss wasting my life experiencing the future my mind constructs out of the fabric of my irrational anxiety made of less than nothing. I deeply miss wasting my life experiencing the future my mind constructs out of the fabric of my irrational anxiety made of less than nothing. So you got to get out of that and deal with what's going on today. Rogue Reaper, welcome in. Nice to have you here this morning. Hope that you are doing well. We're talking about what we are intentionally choosing to miss out on. Val is going to miss that online class, going to hate that commute. Got to get that face-to-face situation popping off again and hit different. You got to drive. So Britt says, I miss online classes because I could cheat. I'm going to miss cheating on the online classes. Yeah. So Noble shares, to be here in G-Stream, I miss out on some extra sleep to regenerate. I choose this in order to bring my unique brand as an ancient in a unique situation. Yeah, I think it's a great, I don't advocate for like missing out on extra sleep if you need it. But if you're making a choice that's enhancing the quality of your life, I mean, I appreciate that. And if you're doing it and this is being beneficial to you, I certainly am grateful for your presence and what you bring to the conversation here every day, for sure. So we do have a teacher in the chat who is shaming online cheaters. For shame. For shame. Yeah. Hey, they're only cheating themselves, right, Emma? Who are you cheating? You're only cheating yourself. All right. Did I miss anyone? I think I got all the responses. Thanks everyone for your participation and engagement in this experience today. We are 1.5 hours in. I think it's a good time to stop and just a few quick announcements. First of all, if you're watching on YouTube, let me say it. I probably don't say it as often enough, but yeah, thanks for everyone who subscribed. And if you're watching the playback, always you're welcome to put your responses down in the chat if there's one that kind of moves you a certain way. Also, within a day or so after the stream, maybe later if you're watching it more than a day or so after it was live, there'll be chapter markers with all the prompts so you can jump straight to the prompt that most captures your imagination if you don't have a whole 2 hours to hang out with me. And then you can just kind of go through the catalog and look for something that you want to engage with and, jump straight to it right there on YouTube. I would love it if you would, love it if you check that out and make use of that capability. So Rocky is here. Rocky is not over yet. Just doing a quick intermission to check in with folks. This is Morning Journal, session number 179. And we do this every Monday through Friday at 6 a.m. Eastern Time, live on Spoon, also on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. So if this is a time that works for you and this is the type of experience, responding to some reflective and introspective prompts and connecting with some interesting folks, I would love to have you here. That's every Monday through Friday. If you want to catch me on YouTube, you can find the link to the YouTube channel right in the notice or on my profile. So you can click right through, subscribe over there, and you can get not only these streams, but also some other video content to support the conversations that we're having here. So that's me, that's G. Let me shout out some folks who are also here, who are creators that I know of, who you might also want to check out. We have, well, first, thanks and shout out to Val. Val UP is what you see in the chat. I really appreciate you for being here and your contribution to the community by sharing all the things that you are discovering as you are working on yourself, providing loving accountability to everyone and exploring ways that we can improve our self-love and the way that we treat ourselves and value ourselves. So thanks for all the content that you put out, and thank you for all the support that you give to these streams with your insights and, that blicky that you got on your hip in case somebody step out of line. Appreciate that. Also, Bex managing the stream. Appreciate you for being probably one of the longest time friends that I have on the app that I met soon after I started. And I'm glad to have you around. And I appreciate the energy that you bring to the space. Now, in terms of creators, I know some of your schedules and I know sort of what you do. And if I do know what you do, I'm going to let everybody else know too. So first, let me say shout out to Steve from the Hold Up TV. Hold Up TV is the home of Requestbox Live and Conversations That Matter. Now, those streams are currently available on the Green Room app, and you can also find back episodes of Conversations That Matter on Spotify as podcast. Steve is also the co-host of the Fanboy Modeling School, which is cultural commentary, cultural commentary and fandom and just kind of fun hangout stream with the voice of the Fat Mantis. So you can also catch the Fanboy Modeling School on Green Room and also on wherever you can find podcasts. So Steve is an incredible interviewer. Thank you for, having a conversation with me and also letting us get to know a lot of cool content creators. Make sure you check out the Hold Up TV. Yeah. Also, we have creators in the stream. We have Emma, who is the host of Go to Work and Make Friends. Emma chases this stream in most days. So if you want to have a get ready with me experience after the morning journal, you can listen to Emma run late and panic and drive to work while you're trying to get yourself together. That's a cool experience that I try to take part in every day. Emma is also the co-host of the Emmy and Emma show, which I think is on. Let me know, is that happening? Let me know what the schedule is, if it's in hiatus or are we coming back with that? But yeah. Also, we have in the chat right now, Noble Ancient. You've heard you've seen his unique commentary. He is a game designer and he loves to have conversations about tabletop games. You can catch the Gamer Shop on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern. That's 3 p.m. Pacific. You can also listen in with Noble playing ROA, one of the Armistice Games creations, along with Alexis Autumn Elf, who is not in the chat right now. But yeah, you can check out Noble and Alexis together on Wednesdays. And then Thursday evening, Alexis Autumn Elf hosts a mental health stream. That's at 7 p.m. Eastern time. At 11 a.m., you can catch Jehovah Thickness streams live on Twitch, playing Minecraft and talking with friends. And let's see, who else goes live out here? Who else do y'all need to meet? Make sure if you are on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to the Treehouse. Tree is in the chat, so click the Treehouse in the chat on YouTube. Subscribe to the Treehouse for that next drop, which hopefully is coming soon. I'm excited to hear about that progress on the next video in the vlog series. The Tree's Doing with Mama Tree. So George just popped in and says, hello, I love your lives. George, I'm glad to have you here, and I'm glad that you are enjoying your experience with us this morning. Hopefully, it won't be the last time we see you. All right. If I missed you in the promos, I apologize. I'm kind of coming off the top of my head with it. And I know everyone is kind of coming out of the holidays, trying to get your footing on what's going on can be difficult. But I appreciate you for sure. Let's get ready to go into what our next prompt. Let's see, what do we have here? So this one is quite straightforward. It's connected to the last one that we had, where we're talking about what we are intentionally choosing to miss. In this case, maybe there's something that we need to start missing. We have chosen to include it, but maybe we would be better off without it. So what's something that you don't have to make the commitment today that you're going to cut it off? But maybe, maybe start to take a look at it. Maybe you don't need it. Maybe you'd be better off without it. What is that for you? So also in terms of promotion, I just noticed that that Webs is going to might be starting doing some art on YouTube. So that's cool. I'd love to see that. So Bex says, I'd be better without the self-doubt. I'd be better without the self-doubt. I think we had a conversation about that self-doubt and that inner critic and that worry that kind of accompanies every breath we take. It seems like every time we want to try to make a positive step, that resistance comes up and tries to tell us that, nah, maybe not. Maybe this ain't you. Yeah, I think we'd all be better without some of us would be better without it. Some of us are pretty delusionally certain of things that we are not qualified or able, like some of us are reckless. So on a rare occasion, some people are recklessly and self-destructively free of doubt. But most of us, the opposite is true. We need to cut through some of those brakes that we put on, the governor that we put on our progress. I don't know if y'all have ever noticed when you ride in a school bus, I don't know if it's still true, but school buses can only go a certain speed, right? They have a kind of device built in that keeps it from going above 35, 45 miles an hour. It's not like they build the buses that way out of the gate. They actually have to install something on top of the design to keep it from going above a certain speed. And that's called a governor. And that self-doubt that we have is like a governor on our potential. We're built for much more power. We're built for much more speed. But there's that governor on that's keeping us, from going as fast as we could go. Cheerio and Sketch are here. Thanks for joining us this morning. We're talking about the things that we would be stronger without. Britt says, I could go without the extra snacks. Extra snacks. We still want snacks. Maybe we don't want the extra snacks. For sure. So Beck says, the more you know. Unfortunately, I know if y'all might have probably noticed since I've been down in North Carolina, I haven't had access to all my sound effects. And I know they added a lot. I know y'all miss all the drops and sound effects. Or maybe you don't. Maybe not. Because I definitely have the more you know sound effect locked and loaded. Noble Ancient says, I would be stronger without limitations or self-criticism. Yeah, that inner critic. The timing is so often too early. It's too early to start criticizing. So if we can push that back, then we can get a lot further. Noble says, I'm a cautious and self-defensive ancient, a limiter. Maybe the limiter is what you were talking about for the buzz. Dims the Burrito is here. Welcome in. Thank you so much for joining us. What is something that you would be stronger without? Someone anonymously shares that I have been using pot for PTSD, but I think with all toxic people gone, I can do without it possibly. So if you are using something as a coping mechanism, and the root cause moves away, then maybe you can find a different way to deal with it. I'm not sure if there's what connection PTSD and the toxic people have, if there's a connection between the two. But if you feel like, maybe you would rather not include that substance in your, in your toolkit. Yeah. I think the more independent we can be, the better. So Val says, I'd be better without self-doubt, self-sabotage, self-negative talk, external validation, weak boundaries, emotional volatility, self-deprivation, excessive anxiety, PTSD triggers. So DJ Schizo, here's a cool trick. I'm not sure if you swipe the chat over to the right, you can just swipe the screen and it gives you like a blank screen. The prompt that we're asking is in the background. What would you be stronger without? That is the conversation that we're having right now. Isaiah is here. Red is here. Thank you so much for joining us. So Val gave us a list of counterproductive habits, behaviors, and kind of emotional states that without any of these, we would all be better. And it's a long list, and it might be difficult to try to tackle all of them at the same time. And maybe they don't all pop up at once, but when you can notice it and name it, say, this is what I'm doing right now. Can I let this go right now? Can I challenge this idea? Can I challenge this thing that I'm saying to myself right now? It might be true, but it also might not be true. In what ways? Yeah, in what ways could this statement be not true? Sometimes you can say, or maybe not, after the end, just to start putting a little crack in our belief in, that statement that we're saying that's holding us back. Val says, well, there's more on the list, but these are the ones I'm working on right now. Well, you got a lot of work to do, and I know that you're doing it. So I'm excited for the growth that you're going to experience in the process, and like the new things that you're going to be able to create as you free yourself from these negative habits of thought. Even if it's temporary, even if you could break free for a moment, get something done, and they'll come back. But the more frequently you're able to free yourself of those patterns, the more evidence that you have to refer back to when they pop up again. You can say, oh, nope, I know that, I'm thinking I can't do this, but look, I've already proven that I can. So, miss me with all of that. Dims the Burrito says, I definitely be stronger without the fear of failing. So the stakes be getting to you. I can dig it. What would happen if it didn't work? One of the big things about that fear of failure is if you knew that failure was inevitable, would you still be afraid of it? A lot of times people say, what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? And then you can come up with all kinds of bold and exciting possibilities for yourself and say, if I knew I wouldn't fail, I'd try this, I'd try that. But I think a more interesting question is, what would you try if failure was certain? If you knew it wouldn't work, what would you try? Like, okay, I know it's not going to work. Let's just try it anyway. Because I think in a real sense, failure is inevitable, but it's not permanent. You get all of this, you get all of this information, and when you survive it, as long as you survive it, you come back with all kind of whole new bag of tricks. So, the chances of it working the first time, almost zero. Not zero, but almost zero. So you're almost certain to fail. So if it's going to happen, why be afraid of it, right? So Isaiah says, I would be stronger without worrying and smoking so much. Yeah. Do you smoke because you're worried? Or do you worry because you smoke? DJ Schizo says, if I knew it would not work, I would not bother. Well, I think the thing about it, DJ Schizo, is the one word that you can add to that is say, yet. It's not going to work yet. It's not going to work the first time. I think that a lot of times we get held back because we have too high expectations of how things are going to go the first time, or we need for it to come out right, because if it doesn't, how that's going to make us look. But you gotta be willing to stumble your way to it. Yeah, it's not going to work yet. It's going to be rough for a minute, but that's okay. Welcome back, Isaiah. All right, here we are. So a lot of our conversation today has been about being human. And I think it's a great way to wrap things up. I think the most human thing that we can do is be. We have a lot of activities that we are engaged in, but what's really important is who we are being while we're doing it. So we can close our final prompt of the day is going to be, what are the top 3 things on your to-be list? Because no matter how it turns out, no matter what activity you're going to be engaged in, you have a choice about how you want to show up for it. So what are the top 3 things on your to-be list today? 3 things on your to-be list as we get down to the last 6 or 7 minutes of the stream. Y'all have been really cool today. I'm glad to have had the opportunity to hang out with you and to get your insights and learn about your experiences as we endeavor and explore what it means in like this unique human experience that we're having. So, your list today, top 3 things. So I think one of the things on my calendar today, just as an aside, I'm having my first actual work-related meeting of 2022 for my IRL situation. So, we're going to see how I feel when that happens. I haven't been I've been working on stuff, but I haven't had the meetings, and the meetings are not necessarily a peak experience for me. Let's put it that way. So I guess if I'm going to make a list for myself, given light of the fact that I'm going to be in meetings today for the first time in a while, is I'm going to be open, I'm going to be patient, and I'm going to be calm. Those are on my list: open, patient, and calm. DJ Schizo says, today I'm taking down my old mixes on SoundCloud and uploading my new single remixes. All right, that's what's up. Out with the old, in with the new. I dig that. DJ Schizo 2020 and beyond. You gotta put that beyond on it, because here we are, 2022. So the to-be lists for the day for Val is: number 1, compassionate; number 2, awake; number 3, rational. Compassionate, awake, and rational. Sigma says, I want to be quiet coyote, from the movie Soul, Patience. Okay. Assertive and respectful. Quiet coyote. I haven't seen that movie, so maybe some of the other folks have seen the movie and get the reference a little bit better than me. But patient, assertive, and respectful. Sigma said it's dirt. That movie is dirt. Oh man, it's so funny how sometimes autocorrect will give you the exact opposite of what you mean. One letter can change everything. So Dems the Burrito says, more open-minded, calm, and more adaptive to changes. For sure, I get that. Got a lot of stuff going on. We want to be open. That's similar to what I am, trying to be open. So Debbie Bear says, joyfulness, gratitude, and internal abundance. Those are the 3 things that you are going to embody. Show up with joy and gratitude and internal abundance. That's a great way. That's a great way to get at it. So Noble Ancient says, I want to be creative, structured, and recovering thanks to the vaccine later today. So he was like, okay, yeah, I got to be recovering, be structured, be creative. So over on YouTube, Retha shares, be patient, be ready to hear, and be writing it down. Write it down. I know Bex is all about that writing it down, right, Bex? It's something different when you write it down. Okay, time for, y'all see what time it is. All right. Oh no. I always do this, but at least we won't run out of time. Time for that outro. Time to panic if you gauge your stream or your activities in the morning to the ending of the stream, because it's that time. I know it's house vibes right now, but let's see. Let's put it on. All right, last minute. Thank you all so much. We got a couple more responses. We're going to get to those in the chat as we head out the door. Bex is ending us off with being, I will be peaceful, loving, and healthy today. That is what is on my to-be list today. Thank you all so much for being here. It is wonderful to have you for session number 179. We'll be back tomorrow morning, session 180. Purple Friday session of Morning Journal. It's great to be in your presence. If you haven't followed, please follow, subscribe so that you can be sure not to miss the great conversations that we have here. Yeah, you make it special. So I appreciate you all. Y'all can go and check out Go to Work with Mo. Should be going on right now, and I'll see you in the morning. Peace out.